Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I wanted to highlight a few reasons why you should consider buying gold, silver, or Bitcoin. So let's get into it. Alright guys, I'm going to share my screen with you guys and let's kind of cover some of the reasons here why you should consider buying gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So I wanted to kind of do a quick review. Let's look at the national debt of the US. So that's kind of a good starting point to look. So again, we're $34 trillion in debt. That's a big number. So basically right now we're having to the government is having to print all this money, and every 90 to 100 days, pretty much like every a little over 3 months, another $1 trillion is getting added on. So this is not looking good. So basically the government just printing money out of thin air, and this is going to cause inflation, cause the price of everything to go up, the cost of living, your rent, groceries, everything. And so so this kind of points out to one of the reasons why you would want to own gold, silver, Bitcoin. It's because the government, you can't just print gold out of thin air. You can't print silver out of thin air. Bitcoin, you can't just make more Bitcoin. It's hard cap at 21 million Bitcoin. So when you do think about it, it's like, holy smokes, gold, I mean, the only way to get that is if you're gonna, have to mine it. You have to dig it out of rocks or dig out of the dirt to actually get it. Same with silver. And at one point in time, the dollar was backed by gold, and backed by gold and silver. You used to be able to exchange it, like literally at the bank, and get gold and silver with your dollar. But in the 70s, that's when the President Nixon had taken it off the dollar off the gold standard. So you really have to kind of pay attention to history. If you know your history, kind of look back and see like what happened, and kind of understand why the cost of living keeps going up, why inflation is out of hand. And so this is the only way to really protect yourself, is to have a little bit of gold and silver and Bitcoin as being like insurance. And so let's kind of go over some other reasons that I like as well. When you own gold and silver, Bitcoin, it's one of the only few things you can own in your life that is, you actually own it. It's permissionless. You could give it to anybody that you want to. It's like freedom. It's freedom. So when you think about it, if you own a home or own real estate, you don't ever really own it, because if you don't pay your property taxes, you will lose your property. So let's see. You can say something like this, like what happens if you do not pay your property taxes? Your property taxes. And so, there's a lien or interest in property. You don't pay taxes, and basically it gets filed against you. And if you don't pay it, the government will essentially auction off your property. So, but if you own gold, silver, Bitcoin, it's something you own. You actually own it, and it just doesn't just sit there and get taxed. And again, I believe it acts, in my opinion, I guess other people believe as well, depending on your research, is that it's essentially insurance on your wealth. So it's something you can just hold on to, pass it down. It's pretty amazing. So let's look back at some history as well too. When did the dollar go off the gold standard? So this is back in 1971 of August, when President Nixon had did this. So it really messed everything up. A lot of people don't understand, but it screwed everything up. So once the government didn't have to worry about backing up the dollar with gold, they were able to print infinite dollars, and this is where we are now today, where the dollar just keeps getting printed, and it's just messing up pretty much everybody's lives, because cost of living goes up. If you just look at it, the history as well too, like what was the average home price in let's just look at the 70s. How about that? The 70s, average home price in the 70s. Well, just point up in California, but in general, look in the 70s. $24,000 was the average price of the home nationwide. Nationwide was 23,000. So thinking about it, when the dollar went off the gold standard, the government was able to print all this crazy money, and now look where we are. The average home price today, what is the average home price of a home today? I mean, holy smokes! I mean, just depending where you live, but obviously California is really expensive here. 790,000, but just look at here. Average home price in the U.S. 417,000. I mean, holy smokes! The '70s. I mean, yeah, that was a long time ago, but it wasn't at the same time not that long ago as well, because we're in 2024. So you have to understand that you need to have assets, hard assets, where you can protect yourself and your wealth. Just realizing that government keeps printing money, everything keeps going up. You keep put money in the bank, that's no good. It's gonna lose value. And banks don't really pay much of an interest. If you try to do like a high yield savings account, well, that's only 5%, and the reality is that interest is way higher than 5%. And of course, if you have a job, when you look at your pay raises, I mean, most likely you aren't even getting a yearly raise that will even keep up with inflation. So you're just getting pretty much screwed all around. So I need to show also what is the current price of Bitcoin. A lot of people don't understand Bitcoin. They're always thinking like, man, Bitcoin, that's like a scam. The people who got in first, yeah, they're the ones that benefited the most. But you have to understand. You have to dig deeper into Bitcoin and what it's about. The founder is kind of unknown. They just refer him to as Satoshi Nakamoto, but we don't really know if it was a person, or man, or woman, or a group of people. And essentially, he or she they're just disappeared. But the code is it's still up and running, and it's supported by miners and nodes, and so it hasn't changed. People can try to change it with call it as a fork, but that hasn't been successful, because basically this is the original. So Bitcoin being the original, it's been going on for 15 years, and it's been volatile, but it's getting more stable. I think right now you do have to treat Bitcoin as a for sure legitimate asset. It's a new asset class. Once BlackRock, Fidelity, and all these other companies, investment groups, they're buying it, starting their own ETF groups. I mean ETF. It's amazing that you can't dismiss Bitcoin anymore as being a Ponzi or a scam or whatever. So the prices are pretty high. Unfortunately, I would say most people. I wouldn't say you missed the boat yet. I do see Bitcoin hitting $1 million in probably 10 years. I believe that can happen. So one Bitcoin will probably be $1 million, and I would say in 10 years. So it's 2024 now. So in 2034, Bitcoin should be, I would think, $1 million. Just because of again, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be any more than that, and then it does go through cycles, ups and downs. It probably follows. Yeah, again, if you do your research, it follows. Tends to follow the halvings, where the not all of the Bitcoin has been released yet. It slowly gets released, but again, right now I believe there's current circulation of Bitcoin's around 19, I think. So, what is the current Bitcoin circulation? Yeah, 19.68 million coins. So again, a max supply of 21 million. So damn, when you think about it, there will only be 21 million Bitcoin, and the population of the world. I mean, holy smokes! I mean, we're in the billions. Current population of the world population, we're at 7.9 billion. So man, like, if you think about it, I mean, if you can own a Bitcoin, you're gonna be a very special person. So if you can get your hands on one, if not, you could still buy pieces of Bitcoin. You could do what they call a DCA, dollar cost average, or basically you just buy a little bit at a time, because Bitcoin is divisible, and you could still just buy a little bit here and there to hold at least some. And so you may be thinking, well, all of these gold, silver, Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, you don't get anything for it. If you hold it, you just hold it. Yeah, that's true. You don't get a dividend or like an interest from holding it, but it's something to secure your wealth. The difference between gold, silver versus Bitcoin, in my opinion, is that having gold and silver, you can hold it. It's physical. You can hold it in your hands. It's a pretty different feeling when you can hold your wealth in your hands and feel it. It follows science as well. It cannot be it can't be created from nothing, and it can't be destroyed. so it's always going to be in existence forever. And then with Bitcoin, it's a code that nobody, the government can't control that code. It's not controlled by anybody. It's not controlled by any governments. It's permissionless. Again, it's one of those things that's very unique, because as long as you have access to the internet, you have access to Bitcoin. Well, if you have Bitcoin, you have access to Bitcoin. So basically, you have access to your wealth anywhere you go. So if you think about trying to travel outside the country or something like that, or just something happens, if you need to up and go, Bitcoin, as long as you know your password, your passphrase or whatever, you can carry your Bitcoin through your brain and go anywhere. And once you get connected to the internet, you have access to your money. With the gold and silver, since if you have it physical, I mean, if you were to travel through an airport or whatever else, another country, I mean, it's a good chance you may get searched and it may get confiscated. So there's limitations of there can be limitations of each of those assets. But those are some of the highlights that I wanted to cover. But just kind of realize that gold, silver, and Bitcoin is one of the very few assets that you can actually really own, and it's permissionless. You don't need you don't need permission from the government to own gold, silver, or Bitcoin, and then it's one of those things that just protects your wealth in the long term. And you may be wondering, like, well, you may not ever never knew this, but if you look up at, for example, like a bullion site like JM Bullion, where you can buy gold, silver. Current gold price is $2,373 per ounce. Silver right now is $28.52 per ounce. You can also buy platinum, depending, but I just stick with gold and silver. That's more simple. But anyways, if you wanted to buy, let's just say buy a 1 ounce gold. Let's see here, gold. Let's say you wanted to buy a piece of gold here, 1 ounce gold. You can buy a gold bar, gold coin. You can buy it online, but let's just look at it here. I just wanted to show you guys that you can buy gold and silver. You can buy gold and silver with Bitcoin. So let's just add one on here. Doesn't matter. Let's just add something on an add a cart. Again, and it says crypto, ACH, check wire, card, or PayPal. So let's just say we're gonna add one of these here, and let's go to checkout here. And it says crypto. Let's click on that. Okay, so with JM Bullion, they do accept crypto. They accept Bitcoin. They accept other ones like Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin. Just to keep in mind. So I just wanted to highlight that as like showing you guys that, well, you know what, when you own Bitcoin, people may think like, who the heck is going to accept Bitcoin? Well, there are people that will accept Bitcoin. There's companies that will accept Bitcoin, and I just want to show you that yes, you can. If you wanted to, you could use your Bitcoin and buy gold and silver. And this is just an example of a website, JM Bullion, that you could use your Bitcoin and buy gold and silver if you wanted to do it that way. But yeah, this is just for today's video. Just a quick highlight of why you should consider, buying gold, silver, Bitcoin. There's a whole lot more into it. There's a whole lot more information, but you have to kind of do your research to kind of see which one you prefer. But again, just think about it. Being this is something that you can actually own, and to me, that's very important. And hopefully, this opens up your mind to kind of dig into why gold and silver and Bitcoin is something important that you should hold in your in your portfolio. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.